Okay friends, today is Monday of week 14. I'm going to go ahead and read the problems to you and then we'll get started. Number 1 says round to the nearest 100. Number 3 says which two number sentences represent the picture shown. And number 4, Victoria churned 1,287 gallons of vanilla ice cream and 956 gallons of chocolate ice cream. What is the total number of gallons of ice cream that Victoria churned? Okay, so if you have not finished or you have not done UPSC, pause your video now so that you can finish and then resume when you're done. Okay, the first one says round to the nearest 100. So I'm going to look and see what digit is in the hundreds place. Well, if I put my HTO above it, hundreds is that 2. So I'm going to underline the 2. That tells me that my answer, if I'm just looking at 273, because that's really what's being rounded. Okay, so 273, the 2 tells me that it could be 200 or 300. And of course the 1,000 is important, but so we just add that back on. Okay, the reason we can take it off is because we're rounding to the 100, not to the 1,000. So we can take it off, put it back on. Now we move to the right of the line and circle it. So it's a 7. And I'm asking myself, is 7 a red or a green, a stop or a go number? 0 through 4 are red. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are red numbers. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are green numbers. So 7 is a green number, so it goes to 1,300. And that's my final answer. Okay, number 2 is a subtraction problem. Oh goodness, with lots of zeros. Okay, so we're going to be circling where we see more. Okay, we always start in the ones place. Well, I see that there is more on the floor, so I'm going to go next door because this means I have 0 ones. I can't take away 2 from that. And I see there's no one next door, no one down the street. I have to go all the way around the corner. So I'm going to take one of those 1,000 cubes. So now I'll have 2 thousands left. And I'm going to trade that thousands cube in for 10 hundred flats. Okay, so now I have 10 hundredths. That still doesn't help me with my ones. Okay, but I'm going to start working my way back. I can't skip anything because everything has to be a trade. Okay, so I'm going to take one of those 100 flats and I'm going to break it into 10 tens. I still can't do my 0 minus 2 yet, but now I have a neighbor next door. I have the 10 rods. So I'm going to take one of those rods and I'm going to trade it in for 10 ones. Now I can do my subtraction. 10 take away 2 is 8. Circle where there's more on top, no need to stop. And then I put down my answer. I go to the hundreds, more on top, no need to stop. And the thousands, more on top, no need to stop. Now I'm letting you do your subtraction facts because those are facts that we should know. So you need to fill in the answers to get the final answer. 8 is not the final answer. Okay, number 3 says which two number sentences represent the picture shown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a number sentence for the first picture. So this one. So I see that it's in groups. And I know that blank groups of blank is my times. So I'm going to see how many groups do I have? Well, I have 4 groups. And how many are in each group? Well, 2 are in each group. So that is 4 times 2. So the first picture shows 4 times 2. So I can get rid of now choice B and C because they have 2 plus 4 first. So A and D have 4 times 2, so we'll keep them. So now we're gonna go to the second picture. And I see that it's in groups. Groups means multiplication. So I know that a blank groups of blank gives me a multiplication sentence. So I see that there are 2 groups, 1, 2. And how many in each group? Well, there are 4 in each group. So that's 2 groups of 4, which is 2 times 4. So 4 times 2 and 2 times 4, our answer for that is D as in dog. Now the name for this is the commutative property. Okay, so this is a picture of the commutative property because they look differently, but we're still getting the same answer. We have the same numbers, they're just grouped differently, and that's called the commutative property. Okay, and number 4, UPSC says, Victoria churned, which means she's making ice cream. Churned is just another word for like stirring, or like you churn butter when you make, in the olden days, you would kind of mash it, stir it. Okay, so Victoria churned 1,287 gallons of vanilla ice cream and 956 gallons of chocolate ice cream. What is the total number of gallons of ice cream that Victoria churned? So we're going to go sentence by sentence to get our important information. The first sentence says Victoria churned 1,287 gallons of vanilla ice cream. So we're going to say vanilla is 1,287. And I know that I need to worry about the types of ice cream because the question asks me about the ice cream, not about the person. So I'm going to be looking at the ice cream. Okay, the second part of the sentence says that, and 956 gallons of chocolate ice cream. The last sentence says, what is the total number of gallons of ice cream that Victoria churned? Now remember, your question is always important, so we're looking for the total amount of ice cream. Okay, so if I know I have vanilla and I have chocolate and I want it total, is that going to be putting them together or taking them apart? Well, if I want to know a total amount, I'm going to be putting my vanilla and my chocolate together to figure out how much ice cream I have in all. So I'm going to do vanilla plus chocolate as my plan. Whoops, sorry, can't see that. Vanilla plus chocolate is my plan. Okay, then I actually have to come to the solve box and solve. So I'm going to put my bigger number on top just to make sure that we line everything up correctly. Okay, when you're doing addition, it doesn't matter really, but just because it's good habit to make sure everything's lined up, and that way with subtraction you always are thinking about putting the bigger number on top as well. Okay, so I'm paying attention to what the symbol is. The symbol is a plus. That means I'm adding. So I'm doing 7 plus 6. Well, I know 6 plus 6 is 12. So 7 plus 6 must be 13. Okay. I see a 1 and an 8 makes 9. 9 plus 5, well, if I break that 5 into a 4 and a 1, I can do 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 4 more is 14. Ooh, a tens fact. 1 and 9 makes 10, 2 more makes 12. 1 plus 1 plus 0 is 2. And we're going to put our label on there so we know what it is. So we got our answer of 2,243 gallons of ice cream. Now, we want to make sure that that answer is correct. So we're going to go to the check box. We did everything from the plan. Okay, everything from our plan is in our solve box. So now we're just going to check to make sure that we did it correctly. So we're going to take the bottom number, 2,243, and we're going to do the opposite operation. The opposite of addition is subtraction. And then we're going to do 956. Okay, and now I have to switch gears. Subtraction is where I'm taking away, and that's where I have to be thinking about the poem. So I see that there is more on the floor. Go next door to borrow 10 more. I have 4 rods. I'm going to take away one of them and turn it into 10 ones. So it's like a $10 bill for 10 $1 bills. I already had 3, so now I have a total of 13. 13 take away 6 is 7. Circle where your bigger number is. More on the floor. Go next door. So I have 2 hundreds flats. I'm going to take one of them away to turn it into 10 rods or 10 skinnies. I already had 3 skinnies, so I get 10 more. I have 13. 13 take away 5 is 8. More on the floor again. I have a 2,000s cubes. I take one away to turn it into 10 hundreds. I already have 100, so now I have 11 hundreds. 11 minus 9 is 2. 1 more on top, no need to stop. Take away 0 is 1. So now I'm looking to see, does my check match my top number? Yes, so my answer is correct, the 2,243 gallons. Your answer is always the number from the solve box. Okay. Put this in your math folder so that you know where it is tomorrow.